You wanna play a game or something? Sure, I'm down. Ladies first. Oldest trick in the book. Checkmate. Man, that dude sucks at chess. Alright, as I'm sure you can tell by the title, today's video I wanted to talk about my condition and give you a more in-depth look at what it looks like through my perspective. Now, a lot of people requested this and a lot of people said you should do an entire day where it just shows exactly what you see, and I think that would be very, very frustrating. So instead, I'm just going to give you some examples compared to normal vision, and you can kind of have a better understanding of what I see throughout my day. To start off, let's go over a brief summary of what retinitis pigmentosa actually is. So inside of your eye, there are two main functions, which is a rod and a cone. A rod is responsible for your peripheral vision and your low light vision, so things like nighttime vision, and then a cone is responsible for your main vision, your daytime vision, and your color vision. So of course, as I'm sure you can infer based on my original video about me going blind, is that the first thing that went for me was my night vision, which are the rods in my eyes. Now, those struggles aren't exclusive to nighttime vision. During the day, if anything has even a little bit of less than ideal lighting, it's very hard for me to see. Right here is what it would look like for a normal person walking through my apartment. Even though some things are a little bit less lighted than other things, the rods in your eyes are functioning correctly, so everything is pretty evenly lit. But here's what it would look like for me, someone with very damaged rods, where low light is an extreme struggle for me. I can see fairly clearly when it comes to things that are well lit, but anything that is a little bit dim, it all just blends together. Now, the same thing applies to going out during the day. Things like shadows are very, very difficult for me to distinguish from things that are well lit. There can be people standing in shadows, there can be cars in shadows of trees that I really wouldn't even know are there, depending on the intensity of that shadow. If it's a very dark shadow with almost no light passing through, I can hardly tell what is actually inside of that shadow. One of the biggest things I struggle with is finding sunglasses that actually don't have a lot of tint. These ones are military grade, which means they have a lighter sort of yellow tint, which is better than those dark tinted sunglasses that would really make me struggle. And of course, to add on top of the problems, my eyes are more sensitive to light than a normal person's eyes, so I really can't go outside without having to wear sunglasses, because then I would just be so overwhelmed by the amount of light being shoved into my eyes that I wouldn't be able to see anything whatsoever. So it's a really fine line trying to find sunglasses that help me to block out the intensity of the sun, but that also don't cause a lot of shadows to make things more difficult to see. I also try and avoid going outside anywhere a couple hours after sunrise or a couple hours before sunset, because that's the time when there are most shadows, and when I'm riding my skateboard down a road and there's a ton of shadows, it can get very, very dangerous for me. So I try to ride when the sun is straight up in the sky and I have the least amount of shadows on the street. So that's one big struggle of my vision, the low light portion, and the other big struggle is my peripheral vision. One of the most common images you will see on the internet when people search for RP is a picture of tunnel vision. This picture does a really good job of showing people that someone with RP has a smaller field of vision than someone who does not have RP. But I think it's a little bit misleading because it makes the person think that you have this big black circle on the outline of your vision, when that's really not the case. It's the same as it would be for a normal person with normal vision. Wherever the point is where your vision is no longer there, there's not black circles around you. It just stops. Your vision just ends. It's not like looking through a telescope or anything, it's just that that extra vision isn't there. And it's really hard to tell changes in your vision when you have this because it's so gradual that you just really don't even notice it day by day. One thing I really struggle with that loss of peripheral vision is doing simple tasks like plugging something into an outlet or reaching for something when I'm not focusing my main vision on it. So if I go to plug something into an outlet and I don't have my main vision on it, I will just completely miss the outlet because my peripheral vision just doesn't function properly. But when I take the time to focus my main vision on that outlet and focus on plugging that object into the outlet, it is quite simple and I can do it quite effectively, but there's just a lot of times where I forget that my peripheral vision just isn't able to do that. So watching this back while I'm editing it, I realize this could be a little bit confusing because of how I described it. I'm not trying to use just my peripheral vision when I'm plugging something into an outlet. Typically what's happening when you go to grab something or you go to plug something in is that your peripheral vision is responsible for most of what is happening. So it's naturally tracking the movement of your arm and it's tracking the general direction of where you're going, and then at the last second you use your main vision and you plug it into the outlet. But for me, my peripheral vision doesn't work very well, and I also have a very narrow field of view, so I don't have the luxury of knowing the general area of where my arm is, and oftentimes I'm way off course from where I thought it would be. And then also for the point where I try to focus my main vision on it, it's very difficult because it takes a longer time. So I just wanted to clear that up because I'm sure a lot of you are like, why would you do that to begin with? I have good eyesight and I don't even use purely my peripheral vision. It's not that you aren't using your peripheral vision, it's just that you're not realizing you are using it and that it's adding to make things move more fluidly. So those are the two main problems with my vision. Hopefully I described them correctly and you had a little bit more of an understanding. And to close out this video, because I know this type of a topic is going to get some comments about this, there is no cure for my condition. The closest thing to a cure would be like gene therapy or stem cells, but those aren't there quite yet. And when it comes to surgeries, there are no surgeries that will help my vision. But anyway, that's all that I have for this video. Hopefully you did find it informative or at least a little bit interesting. If you'd like to support me when purchasing things on Amazon, there's a link in the description you can use when you shop on Amazon and I will get a small percentage back. But thank you so much just for watching this video and I'll catch you in my next one.